There's a deliciousness that exists in victimhood, and just feeling it. It's delicious. It's scrumptious. It's wonderful. It's one of the most amazing feelings in the world. Is just to sit there and bask in the feelings of being a victim.
Let's get into it. Please unpack that for me.
Right. Sometimes I like to say, like, what prompted this, and it was like, what prompted that thought, right? Because each one of these thoughts come from an experience or a conversation where I say, okay, I got to make note of this, and I want to talk about it. And I talk about it in the hope that it helps others. So oftentimes I'm seeing something. Sometimes I'm talking to someone and I clarify a point. I say it a certain way, and I say, okay, that seems to have landed for them. Let's maybe to land for others. And the other people who listen to this, and it's out there forever, and maybe they can benefit that point because it seems to have benefited that person. That's sometimes where a thought comes from. Other times I'm seeing something, I'm kind of confounded by it a little bit, and then afterwards I'm like, oh, that's what it is. That's exactly what's going on. And in this case, it was seeing someone in a situation where they said the words that they wanted help, but nothing changed for years. Okay, so like, what is the benefit of this? Like, why do you continue to stay in this space that you yourself said you don't want to stay in anymore? What is it? What is going on? And seeing that a few different times in a short period and saying, like, wow, there's just a deliciousness to victimhood, and giving that up is hard because it's getting out of bed on a freezing cold morning and stepping outside. And yeah, we all want to do it. We all want to start our day. I want to start our life, but acknowledging how wonderful that is. Because the reason I'm saying this, because when you hear the words, it doesn't sound like it. Mm-hmm. Someone's crying about all the bad that has, woe is me, this is so awful, this is what happened to me, this is what someone did to me, and because of this, my life is screwed, and blah, 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 all of that stuff. So it sounds like someone complaining and someone who wants to be over it. And you're still saying the same thing. It's years later. You've divorced that guy 8 years ago. You can move on in 8 years. Like, it takes 9 months to create a baby. A new life can be born. You've had 8 years. So much could have accomplished between now and then. I mean, where were you 8 years ago? Right? Like, a lot can be done. You can completely transform everything about your life in less than 8 years. And this person is still crying about their ex or something like that. Like, what is going on? And it's that, it tastes so freaking good. To be able to sit there and wallow in the depths of victimhood just has a deliciousness to it. We got to acknowledge it. But it's time to start our day. Step outside in the freezing cold. Summer will come eventually.
So what's the mechanism of getting out of that deliciousness of victimhood? What's the first step? Acknowledgement?
I always think that it's recognizing. Yeah, I think like step one is always awareness. Like, what is this? What is going on? Why am I still sitting here for 8 years crying about my ex who did horrible things? I'm not,
right.
I'm taking away their story is terrible, but it still happened. It still happened a long time ago, and that's not the same as saying, oh, it happened a long time ago, get over it. No, that's not the recommendation. The recommendation is always to get through it, but get through it.
Right.
Like, start the process. Why are we still crying? To someone who feels they were fired unfairly and they have not applied to another job. I get it sucks. But how many years are you going to cry about the fact that you were fired unfairly? Like, how? We know it. Great, you were right. You've checked all the boxes. But it's been 6 years later. You could have started your own company and done who knows what. Now you got a much better story. And so someone wanting to take that step, the awareness and acknowledgement of this is freaking delicious. Why is it delicious? Like, what is it that's so good? You know what I think it is? So we all want to feel accomplished. We all want to feel good. We all want to feel like we've done something. And normally, to feel that sense of accomplishment, we have to do something, whatever it is, right? So in this case, you're trying to create a business and, step into new areas of like new challenges, new frontiers, things you've never done before. And I say, okay, throw another challenge at me. I want to do that. I want to create something I've never done. I've already, created a brand. Good, check. But now here's an opportunity to create a product and really bring it mainstream. And okay, let me see if I can be behind that. And the different challenges you're throwing at yourself. And with each one, you understand the payout. Yeah, there's a financial payout, but the real payout we're looking for is that strong sense of accomplishment. It's like, wow, that's amazing. And what victimhood allows us to do is kind of get a cheap approximation of that accomplishment with doing nothing. It's like in some way we get to say, like, if not for the fact that I would have this, and for a moment feel as if they did without doing. I shouldn't say we. I mean, we've all done this. This is not a charge against someone else. We've all done this. We've all wallowed in victimhood for a little bit longer than we needed to. And I think what I'm trying to do here with this conversation is actually to highlight just how delicious and wonderful it is. So someone can say that, and then they can leave victimhood and grieve it. Like we spoke about that in an episode not too long ago, how growth is grieving, and there's a grieving, and it's grieving. Like that victimhood was delicious. I was able to feel accomplished without accomplishing much, and still feel that sense of accomplishment. And I'm going to grieve that state because it's going to allow me to create a new one. That's I guess the idea of the point of this one.